all those moments will be lost in time.
Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to talk about a story that isn't brand new, but the person recently got sentenced, which is why I figured now would be a good time since there's a bit of closure. So we're talking about Brittany Zamora. So I'm gonna preface this now. The article I'm reading from is quite lengthy, so I will link it down below because I cannot possibly get through every single thing. So here's a little of background on Zamora before we get into exactly what she did. Zamora graduated from Arizona State University and took a teaching job at the Littleton Elementary School in Avondale. She was awarded Teacher of the Year in 2016. She was then recruited to teach at Las Brisas Academy by the principal, Timothy Dickey. He previously served as assistant principal at the Littleton Elementary. Zamora was arrested in March 2018 and accused of having a sexual relationship with one of her 6th grade students at the academy. Zamora is also accused of sending naked pictures of herself to the student, and police records indicate she may have been attempting to groom other students for sex. The family of the victim also filed a civil lawsuit against Zamora's husband, Daniel, and Liberty Elementary School District. The lawsuit alleges Dickey was aware of rumors for more than a month before the sexual abuse was revealed. The lawsuit also accused Daniel Zamora of failing to alert authorities after he learned of the ongoing molestation. He settled for an undisclosed amount. The lawsuit against Liberty Elementary School District is ongoing. The family's lawsuit claims that 3 students in Zamora's class reported inappropriate behavior to Dickey in written statements in early February 2018. Dickey later interviewed the students and lectured them on the dangers of rumors without referring the matter to the police or alerting the boys' parents. So right off the bat here, we have a goddamn shit show. So the female teacher is not only married, but apparently she was planning on molesting other children, hence why she was grooming them. There's the central boy, the 13-year-old, who was effectively molested. It is wild to me that the principal would immediately just assume the students were making up rumors, especially when it's something like pedophilia. I mean, as much as students can be stupid and make up ridiculous rumors, when it's something like this where there's a young victim, why would you not look into it? Like, even if you think it's a rumor, even if you don't trust these students, why would you not look into it? Why would you opt out of looking into something that can potentially destroy someone's life? Now that you know that, I'll go to the top of the article because I didn't want to just throw you in the deep end. Former Goodyear teacher Brittany Zamora has been sentenced to 20 years in prison, the lowest possible sentence allowed for her crime after pleading guilty to molesting a 13-year-old student. She will be on probation for the rest of her life and must register as a sex offender. She will get credit for the 478 days she's already served in prison. Honestly, I'm okay with her not getting credit for that. I just have no empathy whatsoever, and the more we get into this article, the more frustrating it gets because it seems like Zamora's family just does not understand the severity of her crime, and it just seems like they don't take it seriously. Like, they act like this is almost like a parking ticket or something. So Zamora says, "I am a good and genuine person who made a mistake and regret it deeply. I lived my life respecting and trying to obey every law. I'm not a threat to society."
I made a mistake?
A mistake? Is that what we're calling this? A mistake. You don't trip and fall into grooming and molesting a 13-year-old boy. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know what that's about. I don't know how you can even call that just a mistake. That's a repeated behavior. Grooming and molesting is a repeated behavior. You didn't just do something once, and even if you did, still not just a mistake. But it was all a choice. At what point did you forget that this was a 6th grader? At what point did you forget that this person was under the age of consent? How is that just a mistake? To be honest, it's just pathetically laughable to say, "I live my life respecting and trying to obey every law." Well, clearly not, bitch, because you're here now, so what was the point of even saying that? Honestly, I think this little statement worked more against her than in her favor, because again, it just doesn't seem like she's taking it all that seriously, because referring to it as a mistake is just not a good look. And in the end, you're a pedophile, so say whatever you want, but you did what you did and you admit that. She apologized to the victims, their families, and her own family. She told Judge Sherry Stevens that her actions were out of character and she'd like to attend counseling. She said she plans to earn a new degree in prison so she can embark on a new career when she's released. The fact that this is out of character doesn't excuse anything, first of all. And second of all, I hope that whatever degree you're going for next has nothing to do with children, because, well, anyway, you'll be on a sex offender registry, so by law you won't be able to go, but Nonetheless, stay away. Then it says, but outside the courtroom, Zamora, in a statement read by her attorney, blamed the child she sexually abused and painted herself as the victim. This was not between a young child and Brittany. This was a teenager, the attorney said during a news conference following the hearing. The sentencing marked the end of the sensational case of 28-year-old Zamora. The former Las Brisas Academy elementary teacher has drawn international attention since she was arrested a year ago for molesting one student and potentially grooming another. The details were salacious. Police reports recounted how she had sex with the boy multiple times in her car and classroom, once with an 11-year-old male student in the room. The two even sexually touched each other while her 6th grade class was in session, and the other students obliviously watched a video, according to police reports. This is so disgusting and depraved. When she had sex multiple times with the boy, and it's not really sex, it's rape at that point. And also with an 11-year-old present in the room, and then in the classroom. How are these all just little mistakes? Like, this is, like I said, a repeated behavior. These are all terrible choices she made over and over and over again. The Zamora who sat before the judge was attentive but appeared almost stone-faced during the emotional hearing. The front of her grown-out brown hair was weaved into a delicate braid. The ends were still the blonde shade she favored in her former life. That's so dramatic. Like, who cares about her hair color? Tears ran down her face. Okay, boo-hoo, moving on. Her face began to twist as the parents of the victims told her they hope she never gets to become a mother. Honestly, I don't know why that would be surprising. If a woman rapes your child or molests your child, why would you want her to ever become a mother when she treated your child that way? Ms. Zamora lures these boys, earns their trust, and then takes advantage of them purely to fill her own sexual desires. The mother of the boys, Zamora, asked to stand watch while she had sex with another student, said in court. She used her position of power to molest a child. She's a pedophile and no different than if a man were sitting in her place right now. Thank you. Every time I make a video where the pedophile is a woman, I get all these random ass weirdos in my comments saying, oh, you should have enjoyed it. No. A pedophile is a pedophile. Male or female, it does not matter. They're taking advantage of kids, okay? They're a pedophile. Just because you're a dude, it doesn't mean you can't be a victim, doesn't mean you have to enjoy it. Let's get rid of that bullshit because I'm so tired. It's such a stupid argument. I could go off, but I'm not going to. The county prosecutor, Lacey Fisher, said Zamora only stopped because she was caught. If a parent hadn't discovered what was happening, there's little doubt there would have been more victims in the defendant's considerable wake, Fisher said. Zamora pleaded guilty to sexual conduct with a minor, attempted molestation of a minor, and public sexual indecency in June as a part of the plea deal. She was previously charged with 15 felony counts, including 8 counts of sexual misconduct with a minor and a slew of other charges. Stevens considered a number of mitigating factors, including Zamora's lack of criminal history and the fact that screenings indicated she was unlikely to reoffend, before sentencing her to the minimum term. First of all, I'm very curious as to what these screenings are. Like, how can you say she wouldn't offend again? Because she offended multiple times with the same individual, and then she even had a second individual, a second child, stand watch. I wouldn't automatically believe that she wouldn't offend again, and I agree. I think the only reason she stopped is because she was caught, not because she suddenly had this moral awakening of, oh shit, I'm a pedophile, I need to stop. Aside from that, I have to say, anytime they say, oh, they didn't have a criminal history before, especially for pedophiles, I'm like, so? Genuinely, so the fuck what? They did what they did. Just because they don't have a criminal history, it doesn't mean that they didn't do anything. Potentially they did nothing, but potentially also just nothing was caught, but there is something. So I don't know. I just think that means jack shit to me. I find the circumstances of the offenses to be especially aggravating, Stevens said. The maximum sentence would have been 44 years. Society should be protected from her. Neither of the two victims were present in the courtroom on Friday. An attorney for the boy who was molested read a statement from his mother. Before, he was an innocent child, and now she stole his innocence from him. The victim impact statement submitted to the court read, I hate Brittany Zamora for what she did to my son and my family. We should not suffer from someone else's sick pleasure, but we all are. The parents of both boys had expressed the concern that Zamora would get a lighter sentence because she is a young and attractive woman. The parents of the boy who was abused asked for the maximum sentence. This is one thing that really pisses me off. The double standard with female sexual offenders, whether they're rapists, whether they molested, assaulted, whatever the case may be, if they're young and attractive, it's just a shit show. And honestly, I just can't believe that we're still at this point where they have pretty hair and a pretty face, and so what, they're not pedophiles anymore. They did what they did. I just don't understand how we keep giving them passes, and there are people who still have the mentality of, oh, the boys should have enjoyed it, they're lucky, whatever. No, that's disgusting and stupid, and it's making light of someone's victimhood, and they are victims, so let's not get that twisted. Now you'll spend the rest of your youth and most of your adulthood in jail, the boy's father wrote in a statement his attorney read in court to Zamora. My son will grow up, have a good life, get married, and have children of his own. I will not allow you to interfere in my son's life further. Good triumphs over evil. Zamora's 20-year sentence was what her attorneys and family asked for. Her attorney highlighted Zamora's lack of criminal record and a psychosexual evaluation that determined she had no sexual interest in children but suffered from anxiety and depression. What if she doesn't have sexual interest in them but she still rapes them? Then what? Because the action is what matters, right? The fact that she potentially, apparently, is not sexually attracted doesn't really matter if she ends up raping, molesting, or assaulting them anyway, right? Am I missing something? Zamora's mother, Darlene Irwin, told the court she thought it was actually the media and the public who were the monsters in this case. She said media coverage made Zamora seem more predatory than she was. Please understand, this is not a monster. This is a beautiful person with the kindest heart ever, Irwin said, mentioning that Zamora had been prom queen. Laughable, like genuinely laughable in the worst way possible. Like, who gives a shit if she was prom queen? Who gives a shit if she got that $10 ass tiara on her head, what, 10 years ago? I mean, this is so... It gets me so frustrated when family members include these completely anecdotal things that have no bearing whatsoever on the case. Like, so she was a prom queen, and does that negate that she's a pedophile now? No, it doesn't add anything. Why would you mention it? It just frustrates me to no end, because I'm like, this is your one shot to speak on your daughter's behalf. And there's nothing really you could say to change my mind that she's a pedophile. But nonetheless, I could appreciate a heartfelt statement that actually has some value to it. It's funny to me that the mom thinks that the media made her out to be more predatory than she is. She raped a 13-year-old multiple times. I don't know how that can seem non-predatory to anyone. And I know she's the mother, she's biased, but still, I don't know why that would be surprising. I just have so many question marks in my head, like, was oxygen reaching the brain when she decided to say any of this? Zamora will likely be in her late 40s when she would be released from prison. It's unlikely she could teach again. She already surrendered her teaching certificate. To get a new certificate in Arizona, she would have to submit a criminal background check. But to the mother of the victim, that's not enough. She wrote that Zamora's plea deal was too lenient. She should never have children, she said. She should never be close to children, even in her own family. As written, Brittany Zamora will not even be 50 when she leaves prison. I hold out few hopes that she will have truly reformed by then. I think she suffers from a mental sickness that will never go away. Society should be protected from her. The mother wrote that her son has struggled in the years since Zamora's arrest. His life was uprooted and he changed schools months after. He's experienced difficulty sleeping and headaches in addition to wandering thoughts, depressed feelings, and anxiety. I am emotionally devastated and sick at heart and devastated by worry, the mother wrote. I fear and mourn for my son whose childhood ended too soon. Honestly, pretty much agree with the mom here. I genuinely agree that there is something wrong. I don't know if it's a mental disorder. I mean, there's such a conversation to be had about like what pedophilia really is, but nonetheless, this woman is dangerous. I think that's been proven, and it's not that the media is painting her to be predatory. She is and has acted in a predatory fashion, and that's just a fact. The mother also requested Zamora be ordered to cover the cost of her son's counseling fees. I actually agree with that. I think that's very useful, honestly. I think that's one of the most useful things, because as much as it's a comforting thought to know that the person that did that to your son is behind bars, I think that this actively helps the son. So then Zamora's lawyer shifts the blame onto the victim. Apart from the moral issue of shifting the blame onto a victim who's 13, okay. Just as a strategy, I don't know how they expected that one to work, but let's keep going. So Zamora's lawyer held a news conference shortly after the sentencing. Zamora's mother and a family friend stood silently behind her. She implied that the underage victim seduced Zamora and emphasized the fact that he was technically a teenager. However, the age of consent in Arizona is 17. It's time, guys. It's time. I have to laugh because otherwise I'm going to start screaming. 13 is a teenager, sure. Still not above the age of consent. Still her student. still taken advantage of, still rape, bitch. I'm sorry, that's just the most ridiculous excuse. Oh yeah, he's technically a teenager. So, since when is someone being a teenager any kind of reason? I don't know what they were going for with that one. Because maybe it sounds better to say, oh, he was a teenager, because then people might think, oh, maybe he was like 16. No, he was 13. Let's keep that very clear here, because it is a part of the issue, because that is what makes her a pedophile. Had he been 18, ethically, with a student, still no. But at least it would have been legal. Here the problem is that she specifically chose a child. It doesn't matter if he's a teen, still a child. So the lawyer Guerra also accused the academy principal Dickey of ignoring Zamora's request to move the victim to another class because the victim had quote-unquote boundary issues and was quote-unquote obsessed with his teacher. The teen persistently inquired about Zamora's identifying features such as her birthmarks and moles, Guerra said. He also had multiple cell phones and social media accounts. The kid has boundary issues, says the teacher who raped him. All right, yeah, sure. The family had Dickey's cell phone number because of their son's many behavioral issues, according to Guerra. Guerra said she learned this new information from Dickey during a defense interview. It's not clear why they accepted the plea deal if Zamora believed there was so much evidence in this case. I can truly say I've been unfairly treated in the state of Arizona, Zamora said. It is shocking to me how others are so quick to judge after hearing accusations in only one side of the story. I feel like I was used as a publicity act to gain attention that was often driven by money and motivation from several parties. Guerra denied that she was blaming the 13-year-old and that she was calling Zamora a victim when questioned about the accusations directly. The only situation in which Zamora is being like framed or judged too quickly is if none of this occurred, but she confirmed that she assaulted, molested this child and that they had sexual contact. How is this misrepresenting anything? Genuinely, did you have the sexual contact? Yes. Are people saying you had the sexual contact? Yes. Okay. So explain, bitch. Like, so what? I'm sorry. This is so frustrating. This is so frustrating. I'm getting so angry here. Okay. Russ Richelsof, I don't butcher that probably, an attorney for the victim's father and stepmother, told the Arizona Republic they were shocked by the comments. To go into court and argue a client is remorseful during a sentencing hearing and to hold a press conference hours later blaming it on the victim indicates she's not truly remorseful, Richelsof said. Her statement today just punctuates the fact that she has an attitude towards children that is dangerous and makes her a danger to society. Here's a screenshot of the conversation between Zamora and the victim. Let's just see, because I find this damning in and of itself, let alone that she confessed, but listen to this.
What you doing?
Thinking about your sexy self.
Aw, baby, I wish you were with me.
I want you, baby. When can we date again?
I want you too, baby. So bad. Whenever we can, you know I'm down. Like you for real, get sexier to me every day, lol.
I want to date so bad, baby. Those times weren't enough for me.
Me neither, baby. I want you every day with no time limit.
Do you want to tell us again about how you're being accused of being predatory for no reason? Just wondering, because I would really love an explanation for all of these. So that's pretty much the end of this story as of now. I find this one particularly frustrating because of the flip-flopping and contradictory kind of narrative that Zamora is pushing forth along with her mother and the lawyer, like an entire shit show between her taking the plea deal, saying she's remorseful and that anxiety and depression are a factor, which, okay, go with the mental illness card even though you're a pedophile, okay. I think that's the bigger problem, not the anxiety or depression. Anyway, and the mother saying she's prom queen. I mean, I have to laugh at how terribly executed all of this was from a strategic standpoint, because morally we've already established disgusting, duh. But from a strategic standpoint, I really question what they were going for here and how they thought any of this would work out. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think the 20 years is a good sentence? Do you think Zamora paying for the counseling should be included? Let me know what you think about that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and let's get right into the family.